Alright, so I recently watched an anime named Pretty Boy Detective Club, and it's animated by Shaft. If you know what that means, then you probably know what to expect. Me though, I don't know what the hell to say about this. I'm lost and confused. Also creeped out a little bit. Don't sexualize middle schoolers, Japan, please. It's extremely creepy. Why dress little girls in the bunny outfits? Ugh. But if I ignore that, then there is a whole lot of talking, basically nothing being said, and a bunch of pretty things shown. If that sounds good, cool. Enjoy to your heart's content. If not, well, you're not gonna get much else. What it's about. So the title is Pretty Boy Detective Club. It's pretty much what it says on the tin. I would just add what they do no detective work, and instead it's like a visit to an art gallery where the person who made the art is talking to you non-stop, explaining his intent and what's behind everything, and you end up walking away from that remembering absolutely nothing what was said, yet somehow feeling smarter. What did I like? The animation as always is on point. Shaft does it well and they seem to get infinite budget. There's a lot of quick cuts, pretty colors, classicalish sounding music, gorgeous eyes. There's a lot of good to look at here. But not much to say. Also, I guess I have a thing for just listening to people talk. It's the same thing as Baki no Monogatari. Okay, there we go, I said it. People talk so damn much, and they really could say everything they say in like 3, maybe 5 sentences total. Instead they spend 10 minutes on this pointless back and forth, and I still enjoy it. Why? I don't know. Something must be wrong with me, yet I enjoy it regardless. What did I dislike? Well, the thing I've mentioned at the start first and foremost. This has middle school students wearing a bunny girl outfit. I just said this and I feel dirty now. Shit. These are kids, guys. Why must this be so creepy? Really, it helps me a ton when I just tune out all the creep shit and purely listen to the dialogue and look at the pretty imagery in the background. Like strange statues, the starry sky, the gorgeous purple eyes of the main character. It's so well drawn, it's just... Okay, I will say this, there isn't a lot of creepy stuff. I'm hyping this up like it's constantly there, but it's only like 2 episodes for about, 5 minutes total, but there's another character who is a boy who always wears shorts and is always displaying his twig legs. It's obvious sexualization too, but I don't know, it was easier to ignore that. Still, it's just really takes me out of the moment, and it's extremely creepy. Anyway, aside from those two, there's not that much creepy stuff, but if you're going to be turned off by this, man, I don't blame you. For some godforsaken reason, they gotta add this shit. Japan, please stop, just stop doing this. Another thing I dislike was the fact that this is extremely flamboyant and has a lot of talk about flamboyance. There's a certain balance to be struck about the general rambling. So whenever the main character is involved, it's good. Whenever she doesn't contribute though, and especially whenever the leader of the group talks, those parts I would just cut out. It basically adds nothing. It's mostly annoying, sometimes mildly amusing, rarely if ever good. Which brings me to another point. Comparing it to what I already mentioned, the Baki no Monogatari. Yeah. Also, I think it's more, whatever. If you aren't familiar, it's by the same animation studio and it's their flagship title. But there, for one, you've got more interesting characters. In this, I guess the main character is kind of nice. She's sometimes amusing with her retorts, but aside from that, the boys are forgettable cliches. The characters outside the club are extremely rare, but when they are there, I suppose they aren't that bad. But they appear for about a minute or 2 per episode, at most. It's not much. In Baki no Monogatari, though, the cast is quite a bit more diverse. Also, there is a lot of talking about the mystical and strange. That's actually the thing which I like the most about it. There are a lot of folklore stories. And unlike the European stuff with gorgons, minotaurs, harpies and whatever else, it's Asian. So obviously I'm less familiar with that. It's kind of like an anime version of Witcher in a way. Main character goes around fighting monsters through rituals or sometimes brute force. It just so happens that he's just an average Japanese school student. But in this series, you get repetitive talk about how everyone is a pretty boy and a detective, and let's repeat some random fact using different phrasing while something pretty is on the screen, again saying something that was already said, but putting it in a similar, albeit not the same wording as the gorgeous imagery is on the screen, because things need to be said, they demand repetition and additional attention for the visuals to play out. Yep. Well, maybe for the election speech except for election speech in the episode 12. That one got me. No two ways about it. Liked it a lot. Still, it wasn't sufficient to redeem the repetition of the speeches in the first few episodes. So without comparing it, I guess it's okay. It's entertaining. But if I were to compare it to the other Shaft series, TOSS for short, this is the same but worse. Simple as that. Maybe I like the main character a little more. She's generally more amusing than Araragi. Actually, scratch that, she's quite a bit better, but that's all.